teens are out there having sex and they don't know what they're doing. They're just doing it because, yeah, it's on TV, it's on the radio, it's even on cartoons, on books. I mean, it's everywhere you turn, so there's sex.
Sex is the thing, so everybody, thinks that you have to have sex, but it's not all about sex.
They need to think about the consequences and how bad they are and, how tough it's going to be on them and their family and their friends and their life. They don't think about it in the long run, but they need to. I didn't.
I got a child now. I got a change.
What you need to know is that you don't ever want to experience what I have. You don't ever want to go through what I've gone through.
So just how do teens view sex today?
Something that's normal.
Yeah. It's taken to be like, it's just something that happens every day. It's not out of the ordinary. It's like just something that follows along when you're dating or something.
I think a lot of teens are really anxious to grow up, and that's part of that process.
A lot of people think it's just a rite of passage, that, it's a normal thing to do, to feel more grown up. And that if you don't do it, then you're just a little kid. And everybody else is doing it. If you don't, you'll just feel left out.
My friend over here is doing it, and she said it's so fun. People do it just because they think it's fun. They do it out of ignorance. They don't really know, the repercussions of what can happen by it.
About half of all teenagers in high school have engaged in sexual activity in the past, and by the time kids are seniors, almost 3/4 of them, about 74% of them, report having had sex. Why do you think teenagers continue to engage in sexual activity despite the fact that they know that these consequences are occurring?
They don't really think about the consequences. Yeah. They just do it.
Yeah, a lot of sex happens on the spur of the moment, when you're in the mood and when you get all hot and heavy, and the last thing you're thinking about is what STDs are, if I'm going to get pregnant or not.
Hi.
Hey.
I need to tell you something.
Okay.
Oh, this is so hard.
Come on, tell me what's wrong. Talk to me.
Okay. I'm just gonna say it.
All right.
I'm pregnant.
Well, you're kidding, right?
No, I'm serious. I went to the doctor, and it ends up that I'm pregnant.
No, you're get out of here. You're just pulling my chain.
What?
Well, I know if you're pregnant, it ain't mine.
What are you talking about? You're the only person I've been with.
Well, then how can you be pregnant? I mean, it was your first time. It was my first time. Everybody knows you cannot get pregnant your first time.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought, but it ends up that you can. That's what the doctor said, and besides, the point is that I'm pregnant. I think he knows a little bit more than you do.
Yeah, it was pretty much like that. It couldn't happen to me. I was like, no, not me or daddy, no. It couldn't happen to me. I knew about pregnancy, I knew about sex because my sisters had babies out of wedlock, but I don't know, I just figured it couldn't happen to me. I don't know, I guess I thought I was invincible.
Well, before I got pregnant, it's like, oh, I'm not going to have sex till I get married. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I had a strong mind. Going through middle school, the school I went to, it was a lot of people there that had sex, had children in the seats. Great, I was like, oh, that's not going to be me.
I was in 8th grade, and I met this boy. His name was Paul, and we dated and talked, and I don't really know why I did it. I just felt like I was ready. And
I think we've been talking for about 1.5 years before we had sex, and our first time having sex is when I got pregnant.
Well, I was pretty much hard-headed. I ain't listen to my parents because they was telling me to wait and to hold out. But me being hard-headed like I am, I wanted to do my own thing. Next thing I know, my girlfriend, she told me she was pregnant, and it kind of hit me hard, too. I was like, oh, man, what am I going to do?
I was so scared. I didn't tell her until I was 5 months pregnant. and that caused a lot of complications in the pregnancy because I hadn't gotten, physical help or, hospital help or went to the doctors or anything. So I ended up having her at 6 months. She was 3 months preemie, and now she has a lot of medical problems, and that caused a lot of stress on my family. So it wasn't a good thing.
When my parents were upset, my dad started crying, and my mom just looked at me. She just shook her head. She was like, I don't know what you're going to do. Being 15 and pregnant, I don't know what you're going to do.
It be hard, like, you can't spend money how you used to. Like, you can't go out and buy everything you used to want. Them diapers they need them because they run through them like water. Milk they run through like water. And it be like other little things like you got to buy the baby stuff. The baby got to have clothes. He keep growing just like you growing. Then he messing up stuff. You got to, all your nice clothes, you really don't want to wear because he going to throw up all over them. And then it's like the sacrifice of money. Money ain't long enough. It's not. You can't keep it long enough. Like once you get it, the baby needs something. It's gone. And you be like, I'm broke. I can't do nothing for myself. I can't go to the movies. I can't do this. I can't do that. It's hard.
You gotta wake up in the middle of the night, midnight feedings, early morning feedings. You have to get up probably about 2 hours early to get the baby dressed, to get yourself ready, make sure the baby's fed, make sure you get something to eat, you gotta come back home from school, make sure the baby's down and taken care of before you start your homework. And even in the middle of the homework, if the baby wakes up and starts crying, you got to stop doing homework to take care of your baby. And most times you don't get to bed till like 12:30, 1 o'clock the next morning. You have to get back up, and it's like a continuous cycle all over again every day.
Like my mom said, I never really been a child because, I don't know, I feel like a grown person and a little child body sometimes.
Somebody asked me to go to the movies, and I'm like, oh, I can't find anybody to watch Haley, so I can't go. And then they have a great time and tell me about it. I wish I could go with them, and, it's really rough on my social life and dating, and, yeah, you'd realize it.
It's important for every teenager to know that it can happen to them, and it can happen at any point during a girl's menstrual cycle. It can occur before she's ever had her first period. Of course, the only 100% sure way to prevent pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease is abstinence, or abstaining from sexual activity, not having sex at all. But we know that some teenagers are going to choose to have sex. What are your experiences with friends and people that you know? What do you hear them talking about, the kinds of contraception or birth control that they're using?
Sometimes people don't use anything. That's what some of my friends are like that, and some people don't want to listen about stuff. Well, it doesn't feel as good with a condom and all that stuff. That's the way they feel about things sometimes. But
they also say that it's almost like downing the other person if you have to use a condom with them, kind of like saying they're dirty or you don't trust them. And they say like if you have sex with me without a condom, that says that you trust me.
Most people I know don't. They just take it as it's not going to happen to them.
And a lot of times, if sex happens on the spur of the moment, they don't want to go through the trouble. The guy doesn't want to go through the trouble of using a condom. And I think that's a lot of the mistakes, where the mistakes start out.
I hear a lot of talk about condoms, and condoms are the most effective way, if you're going to have sex, to protect yourself against a sexually transmitted disease and HIV, which is a sexually transmitted disease. However, as we all know, unfortunately, condoms may not always be available, and although they are the best way if you're going to have sex to protect yourself, if they are not available, or in the rare circumstance where they break, it is always best to have a backup method. Specifically, we talk about birth control pills or the birth control shot. The problem with birth control pills, as we talked about, is that they sometimes don't work. And the main reason why they don't work is because it is very difficult to remember to take a pill every day. And for that reason, birth control pills do fail and are not 100% effective. So if you do know teenagers or teenagers who are engaging in sexual activity, the best way is to have two methods, and therefore, if by chance one should not be available or one should fail, then you have a backup method. The only way to prevent sexually transmitted disease, however, as you probably know, is using a condom. Birth control pills and the birth control shot are not going to protect against sexually transmitted diseases and HIV. The only way that we're going to protect against that is by the use of a condom. Now, we heard from James, a teen father, on the video, and I just wanted to get your opinion. We tend to think of a family with the father, as he spoke about, but a lot of teen fathers don't stay around, and they leave the teen mother by herself to raise the children. What have been your experiences? Why do you think this is?
I know this guy, he got this girl pregnant last year, and he left for college this year way up in Maryland. And so he comes and visits every once in a while, but it's not the same because there's no father figure there, and the mother is doing all the work. And I mean, it's a lot of the fathers anymore, they don't stay around. They're like, well, it's her problem now, and then they continue dating, and then the girl's stuck with it.
They're scared, and it's like, they're like, hey, she's the one having the baby. She's the one pregnant. You know, I don't have the baby in my stomach. You know, I can run off and go, and that baby's still going to be there.
Why do some people seem to think that it's acceptable and okay to be a teen parent, and what do girls and guys generally think about that?
It's the environment, and some girls say, well, I get pregnant to keep him around because that's the only way that they know how.
A lot of girls think, well, if they feel like their relationship's been rocky, if they have a kid, then they have to stay together. But in a lot of cases, it's just the opposite. Like, you think, well, we have to get married now if we're having a kid. I know guys who run the exact opposite way.
Some girls also looking for something to love. You know, they're missing something in their lives. You know, maybe at home they're not getting paid attention, or they don't feel like they're loved, and they're like, you know, I wish I had somebody to love me. You know, if I have a baby with this guy or whatever, you know, then I'll have, you know, they'll keep him there, and I'll have something to love, or I have something to love me. You know, something that I can hold on to, you know, no matter what happens. Like nowadays, some girls, they act like it's a status symbol, you know? Like if you ain't got a baby, you ain't cool, you know? Yeah, you bring a baby around, it's like, you know, everybody look at my baby, I got my baby pictures passing around, it's like, they act like it is when you get a new car or something, you know, like, they act like it's just, you know, and they make it seem like it's glamorous, but yet they don't tell you about, you know, all the work, you know.
Are there a lot of misconceptions about sex and pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases? What about myths?
All right. God. Can you believe this? My pops is in there trying to talk to me about having sex. I already told him I know enough, you know? I know enough. So what do you know about sex? Well, I know if a girl stands up right after sex, she cannot get pregnant. and if you use a condom, they are 100% sure. And look, check. If she looks clean, there is nothing wrong with her. Honestly, Joey, you need to get back in there and talk to your father, because you have no idea what you're talking about. I know enough about sex, all right? He doesn't know what he's talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. He's old. Back in there. He doesn't know what he's talking about, Joey.
Some people think that if he pulls out real quick, they won't get pregnant. We hear so many things that, like, if right afterwards they douche with vinegar and Coke, they won't get pregnant. It's a lot of things people try to do. Some people believe if they do jumping jacks, they won't get pregnant. They stand upside down on their head, they won't. But really, only 100% way that you will not get pregnant is through abstinence.
Most people think, like on TV, after a person has sex, they just lay in the bed and cuddle. That's if you're married. If you ain't married and after you finish having sex, the guy, he'll be like, all right, I'll catch up with you later. Or he'll be like, you can put your clothes on so we can get ready to go. It's not like all that romantic stuff if you don't have time for it.
TV make it look all easy, and they make it look like it's all glamorous and all that. Man, it's different. I tell you, it's different. It's like, I mean, it's nothing like TV. TV make it look like it's all fun. It's not really.
I know there are other couple facts that I wanted to bring up in response to some of these myths. One is that you can get pregnant the first time that you have sex, and you can get pregnant before you've ever had a menstrual period. What happens when a girl begins to, or completes and goes through puberty, is that ovulation will occur, meaning an egg is released, prior to that first menstrual period. And that is when many girls think that they can't get pregnant because they've never had a menstrual period. But in fact, they are fertile and they get pregnant before they've ever had any kind of menstrual period. There are a lot of consequences, as we talked about. One of the most devastating consequences of sexual activity among teenagers is HIV infection.
I had thought about suicide. I thought my whole life was over. I had gone on for quite some time not knowing, being sexually active with several others and whatnot, and then coming to find out was a very big blow to me. And the stuff that had hurt me the most was my family didn't reach out for me, they didn't help me, they condemned me and they pushed me away, and it was like I didn't have anybody, and it was very hard. I take 78 pills a day at this time. On a mental level, my health is holding. Every day it's harder to swallow those pills. It gets even more difficult each day because you have the side effects from each medication. You have weight loss, you have diarrhea, you have fatigue, night sweats that soak your sheets. Sometimes you can't move, and I just lay there and I cry. And there are times when I have to use the bathroom and I can't make it to the bathroom because I have no bowel control. And there is a lot of hardships that come with each medicine. I've had to wear a diaper. There have been times when I have been able to see, and it's a very scary feeling knowing that you have an impairment that's caused by something that's going to keep you alive. And there are times I just want to stop taking all that medicine because it hurts. What you need to know is that you don't ever want to experience what I have. You don't ever want to go through what I've gone through, because not only will society condemn you, if you are not truly close to the people that love you the most, you will lose everything. You will lose things that you value the most. And not only that, you endanger others' lives. I've met several individuals who have been positive and had sex with others and not told them. I know several people who are positive that don't care and continue, well, I'm infected, I'm going to infect everybody else, and they don't understand and they don't realize what it is that they're doing. I have a niece who has AIDS because she was brought into the world before they were able to help her. And every day I look at my niece and she got something that she didn't ask for. It was just given to her. And she's innocent. She's an innocent baby. And I cry when I think about my niece because it was not her that she has maybe 15 years of life for 5 minutes of pleasure for something that someone else endured. And that's not fair to her. And that's not fair to the people that are infected daily. I have a lot of things that I want to do, but the medicine, that's a lot of medicine. And it gets hard. And I don't know that I can keep on taking all of that medicine. Sometimes I just want to put all those pills down, and they're so big. I can't bring a child into the world. I want a child. I can't bring a child into the world. And then it's hard to talk and date people because when you tell them that you're positive, they go the other way. They don't understand. And I think if I were not positive and somebody told me that they were, I would probably go the other way too. Because I'm scared. And I know that there's real fear there. And it's hard to look to a future. You don't know what the next day is going to bring.
Keith was certainly very brave in telling his story, and I think just by listening to him, his words, his story, I think that dispels a lot of myths that many people have about people with HIV and AIDS. Keith looks like just about any other young adult that you'll see walking along the street. He certainly doesn't look like he has HIV or that he's sick. And that holds true for many other sexually transmitted diseases. He did not know he had the infection, and most teenagers who are infected with the virus, with HIV, do not know that they have HIV and unknowingly pass it along to other kids, other individuals. What about his story had an impression on you? What did you all think about his story?
That's scary.
I think that HIV, more than any other consequence of pregnancy, is probably the biggest thing that people say, oh, that can't happen to me. I don't know those kind of people. I wouldn't associate with those kind of people. But obviously it does.
HIV is not the only asymptomatic sexually transmitted disease. Most sexually transmitted diseases can be present without any symptoms at all. And the problem is that not only do they present themselves with no symptoms, but they can last for months, some of them for even years, without showing themselves. These infections can cause many, many complications, especially within females. These organisms, these sexually transmitted diseases, can get up inside the female genital tract and cause long-term problems, such as infertility. The other problem it can cause is chronic pelvic pain, and these can cause severe damage to the internal organs and actually can result in death. The most important thing with all of this is talk to somebody, get the facts, talk to your partners, make sure that you know each other, make sure you've talked about this, get the facts, know what's out there, know what each other is all about, and make sure that you protect yourself. What about talking to your partners? How do you all feel about talking to your partners about some of these issues? Is it easy? Is it hard?
It's kind of embarrassing, I would think. I mean, like, you know, you don't want to admit that you don't know everything about it, or, you know, if there is something, if you know you do have something that you don't want to tell them about, then it's kind of like, you know, you're embarrassed that, you know, that's happened to you or something.
But, you know, when faced with what could happen, you know, when faced with all the STDs that are out there, or pregnancy, you know, there's something that you gotta, like, you know, you gotta step up to.
So how are you and John doing these days?
Really great. He told me he loved me.
Hot and heavy, I see.
Yeah, he asked me to have sex with him.
So, what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I mean, he loves me, and I love him, and we've been together for a really long time, so I guess that's what you're supposed to do. But it's my first time, and I'm just really nervous.
About what? A lot of people have done it. Besides, what are you gonna do, wait around forever?
It's not that. It's just, well, you know that girl in our English class? She got pregnant.
That is not going to happen to you.
Well, what about diseases? I don't want to get AIDS. What if that happens?
Johnny's clean. He's not going to give you anything.
It's just, I have a lot of questions, and I really just want to be sure.
Well, maybe you should talk to your parents.
Right. They probably won't let me leave the house till I'm 18 if I tell them that. Besides, they don't know what it's like. Sex was different for them back then. Not like my parents are going to talk to me about sex.
Sounds to me like you're not ready.
It's just that I don't want to lose John. And I'm afraid that if I tell him that I won't have sex with him, he'll break up with me. I just don't know.
If John breaks up with you because you won't have sex with him, then he's a jerk.
You know what? You're right.
Oh, I know I'm right.
What about talking to your parents? Is it easy to talk to your parents about these issues?
I don't think it's that easy for everybody to talk. Like one of the young ladies said on there that she waited till she was 5 months pregnant, and that's what caused a lot of difficulties in her pregnancy. A lot of people don't feel like it's that easy to talk to their parents about it. It's like they hide it.
I think the parents are scared also. I think they're scared to death because in their eyes, you know, you're always their little kid, you know, their little baby, you know, their little princess or their little boy. The thought of you having sex, you know, is like, there's something that they don't even want to think about, you know. So that if they can't go to their parents, they need to find, you know, some other adult, some kind of service or like some kind of clinic, some kind of counselor, somebody that they can talk to about sex and get the right information. you know, instead of getting it from like the streets.
I've heard from a lot of you about how sex just seems to sort of happen so easily, and it's so, it just kind of seems to be the thing to do. What are some alternatives?
You don't have to have sex with someone to show that you're in love.
There are other things you can do to show that special someone how you feel. Thank you. Come on. You can work out together.
You can give each other a manicure.
And if you know like I do, some of you fellas could use one. Ooh. Better yet, have your sweetie paint your nails.
It's harder than it looks.
There's lots you can do to show that you care.
Cook her dinner.
Play his favorite sport.
Spending fun times together.
Remember, sex is not love.
Use your mind, not what's down below. You know, just exercise your mind.
Or the basic saying, I love you. That holds a lot.
I think just spending time with your boyfriend or your girlfriend without getting physical is, you know, means a lot to the other person. Because it's not always about kissing or holding hands. It could be about reading to each other, watching a movie, playing sports together, going for a drive, whatever.
It's cool to be by yourself sometimes, but if you can go off and do things with other people and everything and be in a big group, that's sometimes even better. You have more fun, and I mean, if you can show you that you love each other in front of other people, and it doesn't have to be all physical and everything, and doesn't gross people out.
I think it's basically all about caring, how they feel, and like their life. If you care about how they feel and what they're doing, then it's basically showing all the love and affection you can.
It really can't all be about sex, and so how can you have a real relationship if you aren't friends and if you can't talk or, you know, have some kind of a common interest? I think you have to show it first.
You got to use love like an action word. You got to like show the person respect, you know. You know, the things you do should show that you care about them. I mean, like trying to be a gentleman, like opening doors, stuff like that, you know, just caring about them and stuff like that. Little things can show that you love somebody.
Be real with me, be straight with me, you know, just always tell me the truth.
We hope you found this presentation informative and helpful. I hope it will encourage discussion on these critical and sensitive issues. Even more, I hope it will encourage responsible behavior. I would like to express our appreciation for the youth who shared their stories, contributed their talent, and offered their insight to make this piece one that you, their peers, as well as parents, would want to listen to and learn from. Also, thanks to the local agencies, schools, and individuals who assisted with this important project in various ways. A special thanks to our media partners for their cooperation and support in addressing the important issues of teenage pregnancy, HIV, and other STDs in our community. Please, if you have questions, find somebody you can trust to talk to, or seek assistance from health experts or hotlines. Together, all of us caring about ourselves and about each other can make a positive difference as to what happens to your future and your dreams. I wish you a great future and many dreams.